We have more Ogdoadic. I've been loving the turnover on this. Majespecter and more Volcanic. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. This card right here in the future with Rika cards is going to be nuts. But, you know, being able to fill your entire board with tokens and being able to do things, well, that's what this duelist set out to do today. Actually finishing 4-1 out of their event, which is maybe not like the craziest turnover out here, but, you know, if that's the case and people forgot about Ogdoadics, well, then just roll on up and play the deck. Like, that's the thing with Rogue. All right, you look for an opening to do your thing, and, you know, hey, if Ash is starting to be a little bit less impactful in the format because, you know, its choke point power isn't really what it once was, well, okay. So that means that Snake Rain's able to fully resolve, and then we can see this full gas combo kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah, it would appear so, actually. The fact that you're able to resolve this new thing. A lot of hand traps in here, by the way. You have the Crows, the Veilers, the Imperms, pretty much the standard stuff. But there is something interesting I do see here. We are playing Aratama and Sakitama in here, so that means that we can speed into the Merrymaker, and then we can speed on into Champion Sargass, and then, oh, this is a Reptile. Suddenly, there's a lot more options that you think about out here, and you're like, huh, okay. So we can really do some interesting little lines of play. Or, you know, if you don't want to zoom on into the Merrymaker, you have Baguska for defensive options, King of the Feral Limps to get you started. You know, the Spirit package in here is actually looking pretty decent, and I think you might want to actually probably consider this. It's little packages like this that I think might actually keep a deck like this actually going. So actually very cool to see Ogdoadics being extremely strong. Oh, hi Majespecters. So every one of these gosh darn little fantastic cards includes our favorite line of cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So what ends up happening right now for this current format for the people that have been testing this is you're able to make a pretty strong board of, oh, hey, you know, Majespecter Tempest is very good for, you know, the negations. And, of course, Majespecter Tornado for some spot removal. And, you know, if you really need to kind of turbo things up here, you have Cyclone as well to give you a spot removal option. Okay. You also have, well, Majesty Pegasus, the good old Draco Slayer. I love this card's always going to be treated as a nice little Drake or Majespecter card to kind of help you out along your way. But a lot of this deck's success is going to come down to this card right here. Yes, Spellcaster. Also, Spellcaster. The little interaction points for this deck and the ability to set up its fields, while they might not be the most crazy things, I also believe that you do get locked into Majespecters for the rest of this turn, yeah. This thing does lock you into good old Majespecter and Draco Slayer. So whatever field you're going to be setting up with this is going to be kind of like a prelude, but I mean, like, these interruptions that you're setting up here, technically these are not once per turns, but you're only really plowing through one of each of these. And you've also got to be aware, you know, you are running Pendulum Scale, so you're on, what, like 3 back row? And plus, your hand traps here are going to be your strong points to actually allow this deck to kind of get through into its thing. I think Majespecter, honestly, especially, you know, when we have Beyond the Pendulum here and Exceed the Pendulum helping you out with some of these very strong options, I think that this deck is an underdog for the meta. I didn't think I would ever see Majespecters coming back and doing something, but okay. We also have Volcanics. Huh! Volcanic Queen actually showing up in here. You know, I actually am very happy to actually see Volcanic Queen actually having a place out here in the meta so you can do your thing. And I also want to give a quick shout out here to, you know, the actual dedicated fire players that did want to play their volcanic decks. A lot more people picked up bonfires than I think people initially thought were going to, just so that they can play more offbeat decks like this. Now, this deck does have some very interesting ways to answer the meta. You have triple Lava Golem in here, and you also have one more Volcanic Queen, so you can answer these opponents' boards. I mean, The amount of fire that is in this extra or side deck is crazy. We're also playing Hita the Fire Charmer in here as well to kind of get you some little extra value along the way. Discard this card and one other fire, add a fire monster from your deck to your hand with higher attack than the other discarded monster. And you cannot activate non-fire for the rest of this turn. That's fine. All right, you care about searchability. All right, making sure that you can get to those key plays so you can do your thing. We also have Fire Kaijus in here. I mean, this is pretty impressive. Also, the fact that they are playing triple actual Blaze Accelerator in here. Most of the builds try to streamline and just play, you know, I think it's what, usually one, I feel like, at this point. You know, sometimes, no, actually, I never see two. 3 is the abnormality here, actually, in terms of value. They're just maximizing everything just to make sure that, you know, that you can pressure the opponent, try to get game as quickly as possible. We're also not doing any of the Hita burn shenanigans with the trap card. We're just going full everything else here. Also, no Greater Inari Fire in here. That's also kind of interesting. I do like that card for what it does bring to the table, but okay. What else we got back here? Okay, well, first of all, yes, I know there are 2 1-for-1s in here. Cut that out. It's supposed to be another thrust. All right, so just before you're like, wait a minute, Robbie, there's 2 1-for-1s in here. We can't have that. That was a mistake on my part for building this here. So this is somebody's, like, you look at the odd ideas that you look at out here, and you're like, Harmonic Synchrofusion, Earthbound stuff, like your Kashtira cards, Robbie. What are we doing here? Like, what's going on? Well, evidently, somebody was trying out some ideas with some of the odd numbers of values that you can come up with for the Earthbound stuff. I don't particularly think that this is a good, strong working idea, because I feel like you can hit very strong or different numbers in other builds a little bit stronger than this stuff, but people like to explore Harmonic Synchrofusion and test out the ideas of, hey, you know, like, this is actually working, you know, maybe we can do something with this. And it's also a good showcase to see some of the ideas that can win a lot of these localized events and do well. But yes, this is a very easy change of routes. Put in the second of this, you're good to go. You figured maybe they would want more value in this, but to be fair, getting a birth to kind of set up things so you can, you know, get through combo. I don't know. When I first initially saw this list, I was like, how in the world did we get here? You know, how was this successful? And, you know, it just kind of proves how stupid Kashtira cards actually are in the end of the day. They're some of the most broken Yu-Gi-Oh cards that we've had in a very long time. So kudos to actually seeing ideas like this come together, I suppose. Hey, we have Sword Soul for you today. Now, I'm going to point out here that Sword Soul is the most basic Yu-Gi-Oh deck in the fundamental world of this. But unfortunately, the antics of the subpar Sword Soul player are not going to cut it right now. We are so far down the power creep train right now that as much as I want to be like, hey, Sword Soul, old reliable, let's get it, it's not right now. All right, this is not going to get you the value that you want. Ending on Chi Chao plus, you know, Cheng Ying with Blackout, the most basic of boards. I know I always say that, but it's not good right now. It is actually so subpar that you're going to find yourself getting blown out super quickly as the craziness kind of ensues. And that's why, like, yeah, Sword Soul is the basic go-to deck for players. And I would love to see more added on to this, because this deck was so timeless for its time. And, you know, the combo lines are so easy with Sword Soul. Like, if you want an easy gateway deck to kind of get into the game, yeah, Sword Soul is the thing that you want to approach. But for now, it's not what it once was. But I'm happy to see that it did lock down a second place. I think that's a good stepping stone to showcase what we can kind of see here. But for now, we need to take a step back and objectively go, can Sword Soul keep up with the meta? And I don't personally think it can. But what do you guys think about all these decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you. Yeah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.